You're in a heated argument. Your heart is pounding, your face is flush, and you're about to say something you know you'll regret. We've all been there. It's that rising tide inside, threatening to smash the dam of your self-control. But what if the secret to keeping your cool wasn't some new age life hack, but a set of practical instructions written down over 2,000 years ago? What if a Roman philosopher held the key to mastering your temper in this modern world of road rage, internet trolls, and endless daily frustrations? Today, we're exploring the timeless wisdom of the Stoic philosopher Seneca to break down his practical techniques for mastering anger. These aren't just abstract ideas, they're actionable tools you can start using the second this video ends. So, stick around to learn how to apply these ancient strategies to your modern life and reclaim your inner peace. And if you're into mastering your emotions through practical philosophy, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. To solve the problem of anger, we first have to understand what Seneca was really talking about. He didn't see it as a source of strength or some necessary evil. He called it, quite bluntly, a brief madness. Think about it. When you're in the grip of true rage, are you thinking clearly? Are you making rational decisions? Or are you, for just a few moments, a passenger in your own body, driven by an impulse that completely overrides reason? Seneca argued that anger is what overleaps reason and carries it away. It clouds our judgment, makes us say and do things we have to apologize for later, and damages the relationships we value most. And what's wild is that modern science completely backs him up. When we get angry, our amygdala, the brain's threat detector, can hijack our prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for rational thought. This amygdala hijack floods our system with adrenaline and cortisol. Our heart rate spikes, our muscles tense, and our ability to think logically plummets. We are, in a very real, biological sense, temporarily insane. The consequences go way beyond just a bad mood. Uncontrolled anger corrodes our relationships, derails our careers, and takes a serious toll on our physical health, contributing to everything from high blood pressure to heart disease. As Seneca wisely pointed out, the consequences of our anger are often far more grievous than the causes of it. The initial offense might be a careless word, but the fallout from our rage can last for years. The real harm isn't what someone else did to us, it's what we do to ourselves in response. So, if anger is a self-inflicted wound, a temporary madness that solves nothing and costs us everything, how do we break free? So what's the solution? This is where Stoicism, and specifically Seneca's Essay de Ira, literally on anger, offers a powerful prescription. The Stoics were practical philosophers. They weren't interested in just thinking deep thoughts. They wanted to create a blueprint for living a good, tranquil, and resilient life, no matter what the world threw at them. Seneca's core argument is revolutionary. Anger is not an involuntary reflex. It's not something that just happens to you. It is a choice. A product of our judgments and our perceptions. He explains that anger happens in stages. First, there's an initial, involuntary shock. Someone cuts you off in traffic, and you feel that jolt. The Stoics say this is natural and you can't avoid it. But the second stage, where it escalates into full-blown anger, requires our consent. It happens the moment we add a judgment to that jolt. That person disrespected me. They did that on purpose. This is an outrage. That judgment is the fuel. Without it, the initial spark of irritation just fades away. With it, it erupts into a forest fire. So, the Stoic solution isn't to suppress anger or pretend it doesn't exist. The solution is to dismantle it at the source by challenging the very judgments that create it. It's about using our unique human capacity for reason to intercept the emotion before it takes control. And Seneca gives us a whole toolkit of psychological techniques to do exactly that. So let's get practical. These aren't just theories, think of them as exercises for your mind. Technique 1. Acknowledge anger's true cost first. You have to build a deep, unshakable aversion to anger itself. Seneca advises us to put before eyes all the vices anger gives rise to and take good measure of them. We have to prosecute anger in the court of our own mind and find it guilty. Think of it this way: if you wanted to quit a bad habit, you'd constantly remind yourself of its negative consequences. Do the same with anger. Before bed, reflect: when did I get angry today? What did it cost me? Did it solve the problem or make it worse? Did it bring me closer to people I love or push them away? The modern spin on this is to keep an anger journal. Every time you lose your temper, write down what happened and, more importantly, list the consequences, the stress, the regret, the apologies you had to make. By consistently reviewing the damage, you stop seeing anger as a righteous response and start seeing it for what it is: a toxic and costly indulgence. Technique 2. The greatest remedy. Just wait. This is maybe Seneca's most famous and practical piece of advice. He wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay. When you feel that first surge of rage, do nothing. Just wait. Beg anger for a moment of time, not to forgive, but to form a proper judgment." Why? Because passion fades. The heat of the moment is when our judgment is most clouded. If you create a space between the trigger and your response, reason has a chance to catch up. The old advice to count to 10 is a direct descendant of this Stoic wisdom. In our world, this means pausing before you hit send on that furious email. It means taking a deep breath before responding to a provocative comment online. It means telling the person you're arguing with, "I need to step away for a few minutes before we continue." Modern anger management calls this a timeout, and studies show that even a short delay can dramatically reduce aggressive responses. Your job is simply not to act when the emotional wave is at its peak. Technique 3. The empathy shift. See yourself as the offender. When we're angry, we feel like an innocent victim wronged by a villain. Seneca urges us to shatter this illusion with a dose of empathy and self-awareness. He says, "Let us put ourselves in the position of the man who is making us angry. Before you condemn someone, ask yourself, have I ever done something similar? Have you ever been careless, spoken without thinking, or acted out of stress or ignorance?" As Seneca puts it, no one says to himself, "I myself have done or could have done the thing that is making me angry now." This isn't about excusing bad behavior. It's about recognizing our shared, imperfect humanity. That person who cut you off might be rushing to a hospital. That coworker with the curt email might be dealing with a family crisis. Or maybe, they were just having a bad day, like you've had bad days. By considering their perspective, you dissolve the sense of personal injury that fuels anger. You realize it's often not about you at all. Technique 4. The cognitive reframe. Counter with opposites. Okay, your mind is spiraling with rage and catastrophic thoughts. The Stoic response is to deliberately counter-program this negativity. When your mind is screaming about how awful things are, consciously introduce a different narrative. Seneca advised actively thinking calm thoughts, adopting a relaxed posture, and even forcing a gentle tone of voice. Modern cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which has its roots in Stoicism, calls this cognitive reframing. stuck in traffic and fuming. Instead of fixating on the delay, ask, what can I be grateful for? I have a car. I have a destination. I can use this time to listen to a podcast. When someone criticizes you, instead of getting defensive, ask, is there a kernel of truth here I can learn from? Will this even matter in a week? This is a mental muscle. The more you practice redirecting your thoughts from grievance to gratitude, or from injury to opportunity, the more automatic it becomes. You're not denying reality, you're just choosing which part of it to focus on. Technique 5. The environmental cure. Choose your company and reflect. Finally, Seneca understood that our environment and habits play a huge role in our emotional state. He advised choosing our friends wisely, surrounding ourselves with calm and easygoing people, not those who provoke us. Anger is contagious. If you spend your time with outraged, cynical people, that mindset will infect you. And today, that environment is digital, too. Curate your social media feeds. Unfollow accounts that thrive on outrage. You are what you consume, and constantly consuming angry content is like a junk food diet for your soul. Just as important is the habit of daily self-reflection. Seneca practiced an evening review, asking himself before sleep, what bad habit have you put right today? Which fault did you take a stand against? In what respect are you better? This daily self-appraisal makes you acutely aware of your emotional triggers, helping you learn and improve day by day. Okay, this isn't just a philosophy lesson. It's a challenge. I want you to try one of these techniques this week. Maybe it's the pause, committing to wait 10 minutes before responding when you're angry. Or maybe it's that evening journal. Let us know in the comments, what situations most often trigger your anger, and which of Seneca's techniques are you going to try first? Your journey could be the inspiration someone else needs to start theirs. Mastering anger isn't about becoming an emotionless robot. It's about gaining what the Stoics call equanimity, a state of mental tranquility and composure, especially when things get tough. It's understanding that while we don't control the world around us, we have absolute power over how we choose to respond to it. Seneca and the Stoics taught that anger is a choice, a brief madness we consent to. By acknowledging its costs, practicing delay, cultivating empathy, reframing our thoughts, and curating our environment, we can learn to make a different choice. Modern therapeutic approaches like CBT have validated that these ancient techniques can significantly reduce anger. This isn't an easy path, but it is a worthy one. It is the path to regaining control, preserving your peace, and becoming a stronger, wiser, and more resilient human being. As Seneca himself wrote, the nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength. Thank you for watching.